The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Going to Old Salem on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into all sorts of controversial issues, so stay tuned for that. Some great guests, important issues coming up throughout the program, so I want you to be with us the entire time. But where we want to start is introducing you to somebody who's kind of new to the community, and we'll tell you why in just a second. But right now, on my right, Brent Eierman is a physician assistant with Northern Gastroenterology. He's part of the Northern Regional Hospital family. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And folks from the Raleigh-Durham area, but you lived up in Northern Virginia for a while, and but we're glad to have you here. Now, where did you tell me before you were born up in Northern Virginia? Did you go to high school and college? Tell me about that.
I was actually born in Raleigh, but my dad's job moved us up there, so I grew up in Northern Virginia.
Right.
And then PA school actually brought me back to North Carolina, so I went to East Carolina.
Okay.
Out in Greenville.
How did you get to how long have you been in the healthcare field?
So I graduated in 2019, so I've been a provider on my own for 3 years now. So
that's great. Having young talent come up to look after us, and I just think that's super that you are working in this area. Now, I want to get to something that it just happens to be sort of a colorectal awareness month, and since that's the case, and I have you here, let me ask you to bring me up to speed. How prevalent is colorectal cancer these days?
So it's one of the most common cancers that we see in the United States, and it's actually the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. It's very prevalent.
Well, now, at what age? People talk about, well, you need to get a colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there a difference for men and women, black and white, different ethnicities, certain age? I mean, when do you know you should be going for a colonoscopy?
So the guidelines actually recently changed in the last number of years, and they were recommending that everyone start screenings at 45, unless you're someone who has risk factors where we would consider doing it earlier.
Now, I mentioned you were with Northern Gastroenterology practice. Now, that's in Mount Airy.
Yes.
And so you're not really far from the hospital, right?
Correct.
So where would colonoscopies be done would it be done in your office, or would they go to the hospital, or what?
So it's done through the outpatient surgical center attached to the hospital.
Right. I know this is going to sound like a stupid question, but why are these screenings so important? Why is it, you talked about how prevalent colorectal cancer is. Why is it so important? What message are you trying to get across to people?
So there's two things. One of them is it allows us to detect colorectal cancers earlier, and so patients need less treatment and their outcomes are better. But the other thing is colorectal cancer is actually quite preventable through doing these screenings. So there's studies that suggest that the incidence or the number of cases of colorectal cancer would be decreased by 50 to almost 90%.
Wow.
And the mortality associated by 60% or more.
Yeah, and yet, Bren, there are people who are reticent to have a colonoscopy, maybe even to take the at-home test or whatever. I mean, what do you say to somebody who says, look, I really don't want to know? What do you say?
Well, I understand that there are people that don't want to know because it's scary. But our job is to give patients all the information, the risks and benefits of doing it, the risks and benefits of not, and help them make an educated decision for themselves. Of course, we encourage it,
right.
But at the end of the day, everyone has to make their own choice.
Yeah, and you're a great educator, so I'm sure you can persuade people to get these tests because they're very, very important. Up on screen, one thing I want to give a plug to is if you want to make an appointment at Northern Gastroenterology, you can call, and correct me if I'm wrong, 786-6277, I think is the main number. And for general information, go to choosenorthern.org. That's the hospital website. You can learn lots of great things there. Brent, thanks again for choosing this area to help us, and I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
When storms hit, we're here for you. With new grid technology that can reroute power to avoid outages. and better communication to keep you in the know. And as we transition to a cleaner energy future, we'll still be here for you, keeping your costs down even as we work to expand renewables and explore new energy sources. We're Duke Energy, and we're building a smarter energy future for you.
Need help buying food? Everyone needs help sometimes. Food Nutrition Services may be able to help you buy food and free up your money for other expenses, such as utilities and medicine. To receive F&S assistance, households must meet income limits. You may be able to get assistance even if you own a home, car, land, property, or have a retirement plan or money in the bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina team members can help you with the application process over the phone. To receive help or if you have any questions, call 336-422-7758.
Back now on Triad Today, time to visit one of my favorite places in the world, Old Salem. Been doing that since I was just a little tiny fellow 100 years ago. And we have two very special guests with us. One who's returned, and we're glad she's back, and a new guest as well. On my immediate right, our returning favorite, Tara Logue is Director of Education for Old Salem Museum and Gardens, and our first-time visitor is Melissa Bertram. She's manager of Museum of Early Southern Decorative Arts, as we affectionately call MESTA, for conferences, and you handle all that stuff for Old Salem Museum and Gardens. All right, ladies, let me start with you, Tara. The folks who are new to this area, how would you describe Old Salem and the visitor experience to them?
Old Salem is this wonderful gem that we have in our local community where it's this perfectly preserved 18th century German settlement here in North Carolina. But it's more than just a museum that preserves artifacts, we also preserve skills. So when visitors come to visit Old Salem, they can see all kinds of demonstrations of trades work, homemaking skills, hearth cooking, gardening, and all of the other things that come along with 18th century life.
And you just answered part of this next question, but would the things you just mentioned, are they the must-sees, or you want to mention a couple must-see things?
Well, because we are kind of an entire village, we have about 13 different buildings that we maintain and operate. There are a few kind of favorite spots. The first one that everyone always thinks about is Winkler Bakery.
Yeah.
Can't come visit without getting some Moravian sugar cake.
That's right.
In addition to that, our seed saving lab is a really important part of our horticulture program. And so they work to preserve heritage species. And we've just recently reopened St. Philip's, which is our Afro-Moravian church in the district.
Wow.
And it's the oldest black church in North Carolina.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's good. I learn something every day of this. Melissa, remind folks, I just said the whole name in the introduction, but what is MESTA all about?
So MESTA really tells the stories of Southern objects and their makers pre-1861. So when you come to MESTA, you're going to see examples of some of the finest woodworking, ceramics, textiles, metalwork from the early South.
And I know you change exhibits from time to time, but on any given day, what's something I can learn from the museum?
So on any given day, we have a fantastic ceramics gallery that we're actually going to be redoing a little bit later this year. Also, we have our Fur Moravian gallery, which actually really tells the story of Old Salem. So as you're going through Salem, you're seeing the craftspeople that Tara talked about and what they're making. But you can come into MESTA and see some of the historical objects that those tradespeople made.
Are these the real things or replicas?
These are the real things that you're
Wow.
seeing. So it really kind of brings the story of Old Salem full circle.
Now, are there any upcoming programs or events at Old Salem or MESTA that you want to mention?
Absolutely. So we've got an upcoming ceramics conference, which is actually just next weekend. We've still got some virtual tickets available, but we will be focusing on Southern ceramics and fresh perspectives on them, new research. So we'll be talking about Maryland and Virginia stoneware. We'll be talking about recent archaeological discoveries. We've also got an upcoming design seminar in May. This is a program we do annually where we learn about the latest trends in design. This year we'll be focusing on British design, and we will be inviting gardeners, interior designers, and historians to come and talk about that.
Wow, that's an exciting thing as we sit here in the botanical garden on our own. And of course, there's a great gift shop there in Old Salem too. And up on screen, I'm going to put a couple things up there. OldSalem.org is the general website where you can find out more information. And a shout out to Rich and Marquita at Visit Winston-Salem for suggesting this segment. That's visitwinstonsalem.com. We have about about 10 seconds left. You are not in costume today as you were the last time. Are folks still wearing costumes out there?
They are. So our interpreters who work in the historic spaces wear historic clothing.
Okay. So
Today,
do I. I'm in historic clothing. Right? Thanks, ladies, for doing this.
Of course.
Come back
Thank you for
sometime.
having us.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
What are you waiting for? Your future awaits at Guilford Technical Community College. Make amazing happen.
Back now on Triad Today, and so excited to introduce you to this first-time visitor to the program, and sort of still a newcomer to the area. Been here a couple years, and we're so glad that she is. Ann Proudfit is Vice President of Student Services at GTCC. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we already know from some of your colleagues that we've had on before, we've talked about how GTCC offers an affordable option for higher education, and we know all that, and that's great. Still, and regardless, I mean, what's the first thing a prospective student should do when they apply to GTCC?
Yes, well, the first step is applying, and then after that, you want to go ahead and fill out the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA form. And you can get to that on the government's website. And after that, you'll want to go ahead and fill out the applications for our scholarships as well. We offer over $250,000 in scholarships to students each year.
Gosh, and that's aside from everything else. So A, as we say, it's already affordable to go to GTCC. It's very cost efficient. B, as you said, fill out for these federal types of loans and programs. And then you just gave a plug for some of your own scholarships. Now let me read off something. I want to make sure I get this right. It's the GTCC Access Amazing Scholarship is the name of it. Now tell me about that.
Yes, so we love to say at GTCC that we make amazing happen. We provide education to students at every level, but the Access Amazing Scholarship is really focused in on our new from high school students. So any student that's graduated from a Guilford County school in 2022 or 2023 is eligible for this scholarship. So we do encourage people to go out and complete the FAFSA form first, and then our GTCC scholarship. It's a last dollar scholarship that covers everything.
Wow. All right, so it really fills in the gaps for some of these other things that you can do. Now, I'll put up a website in just a few minutes, but between now and then, just remind folks, how can, if they're sitting here watching this or a parent's watching it, how can folks get information on leading them to where they need to go on these various things that you're talking about?
Yes, so our website, gtcc.edu, is the best place to start. For scholarships, you'll want to type in /financial aid, or you can just search it in the search box at the top.
Now, something we've never talked about on this show before, and I should have been remiss in doing that since I have you here, extracurricular activities. A lot of times people don't think about it, but are there extracurricular activities that attract students to GTCC?
Absolutely. We have a very strong student government. We have over 35 clubs and organizations. They do activities on campus, out in the community, some virtual events. A lot of people don't realize that we have Division II athletics as well. And we just started an esports program. So whether you're a men's or women's basketball player, women's volleyball player, or baseball player, we also have intramural sports, so lots of ways to get involved.
I didn't realize, I've been doing these segments, and I'm glad you told me that. That's pretty neat. Now, there's also something I want to ask about that Aaron sent me an email about, and that's the Ambassador Program. What is that all about?
Yeah, so the Ambassador Program is a great opportunity for students who are high performing. So students who've earned 12 credit hours or in good standing with a 3.25 GPA or higher are eligible to be ambassadors. They go through some leadership training, and they help us out with special events and activities, things like campus tours or high-end events where we're talking with donors. So great opportunity to build a resume while you're on campus. It also comes with a $1,000 scholarship and an hourly pay rate. So
Wow.
really great
So
opportunity.
you get paid to help out as an ambassador. I didn't know that either. You're telling me lots of neat stuff.
All right, there's a lot going on.
We should have you on every week and just tell
I'll
me
come
new
back.
stuff. Up on screen, something I promised I was going to do, and Ann's already mentioned it. gtcc.edu is the actual website. We have a few seconds left. I'm just wondering, we didn't rehearse this or anything, who or what led you to want to be in the education field?
Oh, that's a great question. My grandmother was actually a school teacher, so I
Okay.
think she started me very young, and I have always loved school. So every time I graduate with a degree, I thought, how can I get myself back there? And the best way was to get a job. So here I am.
Bless your heart. I'm so glad you're here and helping people out and doing great work to help students who need the help, because these are still tough times for some folks. Thanks, Ann, for doing this.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Let GTCC help you take your next career step. Guilford Technical Community College. Make amazing happen.
Are you looking to jumpstart your future in the fast-paced, rapidly growing food industry? In Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence Culinary Training Program, you'll learn the craft and art of cooking, plus business and management skills, science and nutrition, and essential life skills. Providence Culinary Training has helped hundreds of individuals just like you launch successful culinary careers. There's no reason to wait to turn your passion for food into an exciting career. Check out the upcoming class schedule on our website at providencews.org.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, and it's time for another visit with Mr. Theater. I don't even know if I need to introduce him anymore. Next to me, Dave Briggs, Director of High Point Theater. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
Before we get to it, there's a couple of shows that are really exciting that I want to promote, but you know, sometimes I like to ask these questions. I know you think they're stupid, but I'm going to ask them anyway. It's about tickets.
Sure.
All right. Now, you and I, we talk all the time about, hey, get your season tickets. Is it going to be a great season? Okay, we know that. But let's say a family looks ahead and they look on the website and everything and say, gosh, I'd like to see this, but we're going to be going here, we're going to be going here, we're going to be Can people buy tickets to individual shows?
Yes. In fact, the subscription model that I grew up with, you and I both grew up with, is really pretty much dead. So with the exception of the Tanger Center, which has a Broadway series, they're all similar type shows. They're all musical theater and so on. Most performing arts centers have such a wide variety of events that they don't put together a full package anymore. So you've got a series with 19, 23, 25, 30 events on it. You can't come to all of those. So what we've done is that you can have basically a discount if you buy up to 4 different shows. Okay. So you can go through that list and say, yeah, I want to come see the Nutcracker, I want to come see, Ben Vereen, or I want to come see da-da-da. Right. And then you're going to buy 4 of those shows, and then you're going to get a discount.
But because we're always looking ahead, my other quick question was about this. Okay, that's great. But now say there's a show I want to see, but it's months and months away. Now, should I call and get tickets to that one, or do you need to wait closer to the event?
The earlier the better, because you're going to get the better seat. You're going to be able to choose the seat that you want. And most patrons, nowadays, even movie theaters, you have to select your seat in advance. So I recommend that if you see a show and you look on your calendar, and it also, that's kind of a reminder. You get the ticket and you stick it on your calendar and you say, on April 15th, I'm going to go see Stunt Dogs. Right. Or April 1st, I'm going to go see Ben Vereen. Right. And it's like a reminder.
So my questions weren't really that stupid.
They weren't stupid at all,
good.
Actually.
Thank you. All right, now let's talk about a couple of big things coming up. Funny Godmothers, Saturday, March 25th, 7:30 p.m.
Oh, these are 2 really funny ladies. Karen Morgan and Tara Brown are just 2 great comedians. And this is a little more than a girls' night out. So they're going to bash guys. Every female comedian bash
men can still enjoy it.
Of course. Yeah. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. Plus, they talk about families. And, we've all got families, and we've all got strange stories about families. And both of these ladies just hit the nail on the head.
All right. Now, Saturday, April 1st. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Had to reschedule it, and then we had COVID, and we had all this stuff. Yep. Stepping Out with Ben Vereen, Saturday, April 1st, 7:30 p.m.
it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see this world-class entertainer. So Ben Vereen starred in Hair, the original production. He was the leading player in Pippin, which he won a Tony Award for.
Right.
He was on Zoobily Zoo, I think that was the name of that show.
Yeah.
He was Chicken George on Roots.
In Roots.
He's had his TV and movie and Broadway credits have just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And this is a great chance to see him because he's still singing, he's still dancing, and he is such an inspiration.
Yeah.
An amazing
He
performer.
really is.
Yeah.
A great reason to get tickets
Yeah,
now.
get tickets now.
Speaking of tickets, I want to put up a couple things here. The highpointtheater.com website. I love this website. The reason you should check it out is because Dave and I only hit the highlights. Go to this. This will tell you about everything that's coming up, details about the performers. Also, since we talked about tickets earlier, call this number for tickets because Dave always says this is the best way to do it. You can save a little bit of money. 887-3001 is the number for the box office.
Jim,
Dave?
let me quickly mention the Banff International Film Festival on Sunday, March 26th. That's
up.
also available.
Yeah, don't want to miss that. Don't want to miss you on the roundtable. You going to stay over for the roundtable?
Thanks.
All right, good. All right, we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later, becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Every cookie sold in the Girl Scout Cookie Program helps girls learn lifelong lessons in people skills, decision making, money management, goal setting, and business ethics. It's amazing how much you can learn from a cookie. The Girl Scout Cookie Program. Think outside the box.
Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to our good friends here at Cena Botanical Garden. It's a great place to visit. Come out and see the garden. You can rent the facility, have weddings and all sorts of things. And you can see Ogie if you were here right now. Next to me, on my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist, also writes for O. Henry Magazine. So we'll talk about that later. Dave Briggs, we held over from a previous segment, director of High Point Theater, Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. All right, guys, if you drive an electric vehicle, state lawmakers want to charge you an additional $140 per year. Now, they say that other drivers who drive gasoline cars pay a gas tax to help maintain the roads, so that electric vehicle drivers should chip in too. Good idea or bad idea, Ogie?
I think it's a bad idea, Jim. I think we ought to be giving incentives for people to drive electric cars and to benefit the environment.
Dave Briggs.
Well, the last time I checked, those cars have 4 rubber wheels. They're riding on the same streets that we are. They need to be paying something extra because I pay an exorbitant amount of gas tax here in North Carolina. They need to be covering their costs too.
All right, two different views.
Talking about fair
Keith?
share.
All right, Keith, what do you think?
I don't think they need to pay extra at all.
At all?
No.
Okay. So you agree with Ogie and disagree with Dave?
They want potholes. I don't.
All right. They just want pot. It has nothing to do with the.
Nothing to do with the hole.
All right. Meanwhile, some state legislators want to bar the public release of mugshots, guys. They say just because someone's arrested doesn't mean police should be allowed to release the mugshot to the media. How do you stand on the issue of releasing mugshots, Ogie?
You know, as a former journalist, I'm okay with it. I think if you just put the shot up there and don't editorialize about it when you're telling the story, to do a shot of the guy is okay.
The guy could be innocent, though, and they say, well, here's the guy that was just arrested this afternoon, Dave.
Yeah, and I do have a problem with it. I really think we're innocent till proven guilty. I don't know. That's a slippery slope, but Ogie has a great, from a journalistic point of view, it'd be nice to be able to see if somebody's been arrested.
Keith, what do you think?
I don't think you need to do that unless somebody's found guilty. I think these mug shots can be used against people years and years down the road. And it's just a terrible, terrible way to plant someone in their life as they move forward. I just think it's a terrible idea.
I mean, if a guy's caught in the act shooting somebody and he's already on surveillance cameras and whatever, I mean, you can show that. All right, Pensacola Christian College officials recently canceled a scheduled concert The concert was already ready to go by a musical group because they discovered that one of the singers in the group is gay. And that goes against the teachings of the school. Now, did the college do anything wrong? Or should private colleges have their tax-exempt status revoked whenever they discriminate against someone's sexual preference? Ogie.
I can barely dignify that with a reply, Jim. Yeah, they should have their tax-exempt status ripped completely out, forever.
Dave, did they do anything wrong?
Did they do anything wrong? Legally, no, but from a moral perspective, they're a Christian college. They should love everyone. I don't necessarily think they should lose their tax status from that, but that's an absurdity, and they should let that concert happen.
Keith?
So are they going to close the school when they find out half of their staff is gay?
I don't know. We'll give them a call.
Yeah, so if one of their staff members is gay, they're going to close the school down?
No theater department. Yeah, no theater department.
Yeah, the whole school.
Business or dance. Right?
All right. West Virginia is now giving tax credits, speaking of taxes and stuff, they're now giving tax credits to former residents who moved back to the state. You like this idea? Would you like to see North Carolina do it, Ogie? Move back.
I don't think we need, I can see where West Virginia might need to do that, but we don't need to do that.
I agree 100% with that, but West Virginia's lost a lot of people. If they want to help them come back in and support that economy, that's fine.
Keith, tax credits if you move back.
If you move back to West Virginia, I think you need to get a house, a car, and a job. You need everything you move back to West Virginia.
All right, guys, a Florida animal welfare bill will make it illegal to let your dog stick his head out of the car window while the car's in motion. This is a real story now. Are you okay with this? Because if you got caught, your dog was hanging his head out the window, you're going to pay a fine. I mean, what do you think, Ogie?
That's terrible. That's the dog's best enjoyment is riding down the road, letting their tongue wag.
Yeah, but see, in Florida now, they can, with DeSantis and everybody, they can write you up and
oh man, that's only one of 1,000 of things that idiot's doing.
Like the Florida Highway Patrol doesn't have enough to do. I would like to see animals restrained in the vehicle, but the ones that really bother me are the ones that are sitting on the driver's lap.
Yeah.
That annoys me.
Yeah. My wife sits on my lap when I drive it. That's a whole other.
Does she stick her head up?
Yeah, Keith, what do you think?
That was too much information for us. That really was. That was a lot of information. No, I think that dogs should be restrained, but I don't know how you restrain an animal in a car. It's just very difficult.
All right, finally, a letter has been discovered, which was written by Marlon Brando in the 1940s. He wrote it to a girlfriend, and he broke up with her in the letter. Now, that letter is going to be sold at auction for $15,000. Guys, have you ever written or received a breakup letter, and how much would you sell it for, Ogie?
I don't think I have, but let me say this. Happy birthday, Jim.
Well, it's almost, thank you. I appreciate that. Have you ever written a breakup letter or received one, Dave?
Never written one, but I have received one.
You have received one?
Yes.
And Keith, have you ever received one or written a breakup letter, and how much was it worth?
It's probably worth now, I wrote one, it's probably worth about $10 million now, but it keeps going up.
You wrote one?
I wrote one, yeah, and it's probably worth about $10 million right now.
Okay. What's the girl worth? That's what I want to know. That's all.
She's a billionaire now.
That's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. A German ice cream parlor now has a new topping to its ice cream. On every scoop, you get a fried cricket. One of the customers was asked how he liked it. He said, well, it tastes pretty good, but, all of a sudden my legs are making noises when I rub them together. I don't know what that means, but he shouldn't eat that ice cream. For all of us here, including Keith, who's now worth a lot of money, we'll see you next week.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Thank you. Appreciate it.